I suppose I detected that there's a little bit of introvert about you when I sort of said, we're going to have a fireside chat, and you're going, I know you wrote in the email, gulp, and then you're going, I haven't done many chats or interviews for the last few years. And I went, okay, so give me a few questions. So I sent over a few, and
Yeah, I appreciate that.
so, and that's absolutely fine. I think, Brené Brown's book about, being vulnerable, I think I certainly learned a lot from her TED talk as well as the book, and that the power of vulnerability. And guess what? 50% of the planet are introverts, and I think it's really important to understand. And I don't know what I'd call myself. I think I flip between being slightly extroverted to being slightly introverted, but. It's the power of vulnerability and the power of quiet, I think, that's really gets stuff done. And so you're creating tech, and let's fast forward to where you are today, and the whole influencer scene. And I believe you and your wife had an aha moment regarding creating a product and you're using a website called wildeye.com, and then part of that tech is Bid to Talk. So tell me a little bit about the inspiration of this Bid to Talk tech and how it all started.
Sure. Yeah, happy to. For me, it started with just the desire to create a new company. I tend to go in and out of consulting or full-time employment, situation to startups. I've started companies before, and I had just come off the COVID had arrived, and I had been laid off, strangely enough, from a very wealthy company called Anthem Inc, which is a big healthcare company. Mm-hmm. My whole team, most of my team was laid off, which is surprising. And that just gave me the impetus to say, okay, I'm ready to jump in again into a new startup. And before that, I had been really interested in human connection maybe partially because of my introvertedness. But also my realization that this whole new situation is isolating people, and people need to connect. We have this deep-seated need for social connection. It's important for survival and for thriving. And so, we've seen a lot of deprivation with this situation this year. And so it kicked me into action. I was interested in, it occurred to me that actually Zoom would be a really interesting platform to create a search engine where people could actually find each other. And this resonated with my wife, but also many other friends and colleagues. Got very excited about that, because with Zoom, you have to be invited to a session. But after some time, early this summer, it occurred to me, and a friend of mine mentioned, it didn't really have a very good business model. It was confusing. It was a little kind of haphazard. And so part of, I think, being an effective entrepreneur is to continue to hone your idea until it's really ready to sprout. And at that point, like early July this year, it occurred to us that bidding was a really interesting idea. That the idea that people's time is precious is important. We're bombarded, right, constantly with ads and media and spam, and it just goes on and on and on. And it occurred to me that the influencer space is huge. That it's half the planet is using social media. And my wife, Diane, she was a budding influencer herself. She now has over 7,000 subscribers, many hundreds of thousands of views. And she really likes the space. She has a marketing background and a marketing interest. So we kind of talked this over and pooled our interest and decided this would be a really exciting space to get into. The idea essentially is to give influencers the ability to monetize their fan base in a new way, so that they can actually connect with their fans one-on-one, to have conversations about anything that they want to talk about, but more likely about the subject matter of the given influencer. And and the spectrum, as ranges pretty dramatically from entertainers to subject matter experts. So there's really this amazing spectrum of talent and expertise. And so I think we've struck a chord. There are a lot of people really interested in this. We're thinking that a lot of the people that we're going to be using this platform are probably somewhere in the middle, or probably on the low end, people who are building their careers on social media. And we're finding that they're really interested to earn an income, earn money talking to people.
Yep.
There are some influencers that we spoke to who were saying, I'm invited to all of these Zoom calls to participate, but it's a waste of time. I'm sitting there with 100 people and I'm not earning any income. I'd rather have my own channel, own way to make an income. So it's very interesting. We discovered that they do live streams, but it's one way, right? Or they're on Zoom calls that they aren't paid for. So it's really interesting to see the reaction. Another influencer told us he is an entertainer of 8-year-old girls, which is odd to me, but he makes a living, I guess, doing this. He said he would love, for example, to be able to have these rapid sessions where he could talk to these fans for 2-minute segments or 5-minute segments rapidly to earn income. So that's sort of the origination of this, but also we're getting some interesting and good validation. It's really exciting.